Welcome back to Angel Angela, and on this topic, I am going to be talking about spirit animals and dreams. Dreams about spirit animals when dealing with narcissists. So, when you come into your awakening, there's going to be a period of time, right, where you start to view the world as, oh, wow, it's beautiful. Like, you it's like you're tapping out of the matrix. You start to get signs from everywhere, from objects, from people, from animals. You went into this underground world, and that underground world is where everyone's having fun. When, you know, it just seems like you're going to live forever. You're living right now. You're focused on the now. You're in the moment, right? The narcissist takes you out of that world. You get trapped into their dungeon, and at first it seems like fun. You're like, okay, I'm in this dungeon with the narcissist. I can do whatever I want. We can do whatever we want. You're loving them really hard. All the things that matter to you almost don't really matter because you're thinking about the future. The narcissist is future faking with you. So you're planning on evolving with this person. You're planning on evolving with them. You feel like your life is going to go to the next level now, not knowing, right, that they're actually pulling you away. And there's signs that are everywhere, signs in nature, signs when it comes to them doing things behind your back, you finding phones, you finding earrings. The narcissist might even expose these things to you because they know it's going to eventually come to light anyway. Another reason why they might even expose things to you is because they don't want you to be in tune with your spirit guides. So whether you have an intuition, whether you have a dream, they know eventually you're going to wake up out of that maze. So when you start to wake up out of that maze and you're in pain, it's very hard to listen to music. It's very hard to watch TV, watch movies, all those things, because it almost seems like, how could I distract myself with those things when I'm in so much pain right now? And a lot of these shows, a lot of these things, they're just triggering me. They're making me feel insecure now because now I'm feeling like they want something that I'm not, right? It feels like you're trying to almost make yourself be what they like, what they, what they're interested in, and you try to change yourself almost to fit who they are. And, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because it's not who you are. It's you feel like you're battling yourself because you're battling the fact that nothing is going the way you thought it would go. So you put yourself in a state of mind where now you can't even have conversations with people. So maybe once upon a time, you felt like you needed to talk to someone about these things. You needed someone that understood you. And then you get to a place where you really don't even want to talk. You don't even want to express yourself to others because you basically know that no one feels your pain. No one understands what you're going through. And you know that a lot of people are also going through it. But you're just trying to figure out how can you stay alive feeling so much pain, right? And you silence yourself, you separate yourself from the world and you see the world differently. And after you spend a good amount of time clearing your thoughts, clearing your mind, clearing your spirit from all the music, everything you've been doing for years, all the distractions, and you might even tell yourself, even if the narcissist wasn't around, there were so many distractions either way, where you couldn't put your full focus on one thing because your mind was all over the place. You couldn't just focus on one thing, one goal, and stick to it and really, dominate that thing, right? Because you'll tell yourself, I need music, I need these other things, I need these things that are toxic for my mind, for my body, I need these other things to make me feel better. These are the things I do to entertain me, right? So when a narcissist really crushes you, there's almost like no remedy to it. And all you do is you spend time alone thinking, rewinding everything. And then you start to reflect on the world. You spend time in nature and you're just like at peace, right? You're at peace. You find nature beautiful because you see how peaceful it is. But then you start to see how the animals move. You start to see how everyone has their own little territory. You start to really pay attention to the cycles, to the moon, to the stars, and now you're waking up and you're seeing the world as something so beautiful, and you're wondering, why couldn't you just enjoy this beauty with the ones you love, and why couldn't things just be peaceful? There were times maybe that you remember, meditating even with the narcissist, and you thought you were on this spiritual journey together, and in a way it brought you to a deep state of meditation, and you're meditating on everything, and you understand that certain things had to happen. You realize how every object has frequencies, how you create frequency every time you walk, every time you exercise, every time you're in motion. You realize what you attract. You realize that you're like a magnet, and when you're working your way back up, you're attracting certain energies, and you know why you're attracting it. You know that God is using people to help you, to guide you, just like these evil forces were being used. And God uses people. So you start to realize, wow, God really does use people, because as an empath, I guarantee every one of you has a story on something where you were on hard times and like a miracle just happened, or you were hoping for something and something came through in the mail for you, and you're like, wow, look, this came out of nowhere and I really needed it. It was the perfect timing, right? So you start to see that God uses people. But what we don't realize is that God uses animals too. And that's the real crazy part. And this is why I wanted to talk about spirit animals, because if you study animals, you'll almost feel like they're no different from humans, because you have mean animals, you have nice animals, and that can also be, an advantage for you, because the narcissist is a lot of times aware of this, and they train their pets, and sometimes they have animals who don't like you, or they have animals that the narcissist is connected to, and they'll tell them to attack you or something if you're in an argument with them. Sometimes you see that they're not really connected to other animals besides their own pets. They don't see how the spiritual side of it. The narcissist is almost like a cannibal, who is preying on people. So this is why your spirit guides and your animal guides will come to you. Spirit animals are animals that will gravitate to you, that will, they will speak to you telepathically. You can feel their vibrations. You can feel their sadness. You can feel their empathy. You can feel their joy. They will be very comfortable with you. They'll smile at you. Um, and just like, you know, as human beings, like I said, we have many different personalities. You'll see that certain spirit animals have, you know, evil personalities. So it's those spirit animals are working in that narcissistic spirit. So you'll have even dreams of being attacked by certain animals. You know, you'll have nightmares of certain animals attacking you. The first time I came across, you know, the understanding and the connection to, you know, us as human beings with animals and, you know, consciousness is when me and the narcissist were basically arguing. Really, they were arguing with me because I really didn't want to argue. They just wanted to hear themselves argue. And I remember telling them to just kind of like be quiet a little bit because we're in nature, we're in a cabin, and, you know, as an empath, you're always thinking about things like that. You know, when it's quiet and you're in the woods, you're thinking, you know, if the animals are quiet, I should be quiet too, right? If I'm hearing birds chirping and stuff like that, you know, I feel comfortable talking and, you know, just not loud enough to start disrupting certain animals who might be territorial. So I'm telling this person, you know, to not speak so loud, not scream so loud. And they just kept going. And next thing you know, a bat flies by and almost bites the narcissist. And I never seen a bat in my life, you know. I'm having like a trip from hell. I'm basically in the cabin of the cabin. I'm basically in a cabin with a serial killer. That's how it almost felt like, because my soul felt, you know, disturbed, you know, and I was filled with anxiety, and I'm like in the middle of the woods with someone who hates me. And that bat just flew by, almost bit him and flew off. And I thought to myself, you know, I was at that time in my awakening where I was paying more attention to everything, you know, animals, everything. Like I said, you come into an awakening where you're like, the world's a beautiful place. But then when you go through the final discard, you start to see that the world is an ugly place. So then you're like, you get dragged back to the worldly frequency. So you get out of the frequency that you're in, where you're focused, where you're healing, where you're coming into an awakening. But then you get pulled back into this reality where it's like, yeah, there's beautiful stuff everywhere. But just like animals have to prey on other animals to eat, there's ugly stuff going on too, right? So I was at that point when that happened, and I thought, that's crazy. So another thing that was happening when I was going through the discard was that, you know, I was just going through an ongoing hell because it was one thing after the other, and I felt like I couldn't leave. And I remember the narcissist had disappeared. I hadn't heard from them. And I remember just feeling alone because I had to sleep alone. And I was like, wow, like I'm sleeping alone. And I remember laying in my bed. And in the middle of the night, you know, he's trying to get in. So then he comes to the window and he's like trying to open the window, knocking on the window, trying to come in like a crazy person. And it was raining and everything, literally like 12 midnight. And I was in such a deep sleep that I actually got up. I knew he came in. I knew he laid in bed with me. But I was in such a deep sleep that when I went back to sleep, when I dozed off and he was already in the bed, I literally forgot that he even came into the window. I don't know if I thought I was dreaming. I was that like sleepy that, I don't know. I just know I went back to sleep and I forgot that he even came. And I started having this nightmare where a lion a big, huge lion just breaks into the window and is trying to devour me, and I remember jumping over the countertop, like running over the countertop, and knowing the lion was like preying around, and I remember thinking, I need to go look after my family. I have to go find them. I have to make sure everyone's safe. And I remember like running, like my heartbeat was beating really fast. Like, you need to go and protect your family, right? The whole thing was protect your family, protect yourself, protect your family. And it was, to me, it was a representation of the narcissist roaring like a lion coming into the window. I was going through the discard. There was so much confusion, so many lies. They wanted me to believe the lies. They were trying to get into this new relationship, and they just kept trying to throw me off, make me feel like I was crazy, leaving me for days, just making me feel real crappy, didn't really know what to do. I just felt cornered in. I felt like, what do I have to do to prove to this person that I care, because everything that I do is wrong, to the point where I couldn't even talk anymore because I was so afraid that if I said the wrong thing, they would spit at me or they would hit me. I was at that point where I was just afraid, and they would look at me and they would be like, why are you afraid? Why are you flinching? Why are you acting like I'm going to hit you? And it's like, because you get aggressive over things that you've done. You get aggressive over me questioning things that most people wouldn't get mad about. And if you're lying, why would you get verbally and physically abusive with someone when you know you're lying, and then not feel remorse that you hurt that person physically, that you bruised that person? You don't feel any remorse, and then you laugh at them and make fun of them while you're walking out the door. So to me, the lion signified, the roaring lion signified the narcissist roaring around looking for something to eat, something to devour. Like, that's all they're doing. That's why it was so easy for them to come in like they didn't do anything, because they're just roaring along looking for food, looking for scraps, for anything. And there's no emotion in it. It's just, I'm hunting, right? And if I'm hunting you, it can destroy the rest of what you have. And that's why I felt such fear, where I felt like I had to protect my family. And that's why I felt like, I couldn't give this. This is why I made the choice to move on, because I could have really kept playing around, but that's why I made the conscious choice to move on, because the dreams started getting more intense. Now I'm having dreams and animals are in my dreams, and I thought it was just crazy, right? So I'm having dreams of the narcissist new supply, the way this person looks. I mean, how could I know what someone looks like before even seeing them? And that's because I'm connected to the narcissist, and they're connecting with everyone else. And I can feel those people, that they're being intimate to the point where I'm dreaming about them. I'm dreaming about whatever the narcissist is thinking and doing. And they're making it seem like I'm crazy. They're like, oh, you should be a psychic. You should. They're joking around with my spirituality, trying to throw me off, because God has anointed me enough to know that my dreams and my intuition is not fake. It's not something that's fictitious. It's something that, God has allowed me to use every vibration of this person's words and decipher what they're saying. Even if they're lying, I'm deciphering it, using their frequency, feeling their frequency, feeling the energy around them. Almost like you're reading their mind, like their mind is just open, and you're allowed to pick whatever you need to pick out of it. That anything that has to do with you, you're allowed to know, because you're connected to them, because they're taking energy from you. So you can feel, what they're feeling or what they're thinking. And you're realizing that they had this type of power over you the whole time. So now that they're uncomfortable because you can see through them, now, you're getting more signs from the universe that this person knows that and now they're out to destroy you. And it gets to the point where now I'm getting symbolic dreams that have, animals in them. And I'm thinking, why is there animals? This is crazy, right? When I got to the point where everything slowed down and this person wasn't around, I had another dream. And on this dream, I had a hummingbird, and the hummingbird was flying really fast right in front of me. Of course, as you guys know, they're moving super fast. And I was just there like staring at it, and it was almost like it was moving fast but in slow motion. And I woke up and I was like, that's weird, having a hummingbird all in my face like that. But after that, I started to experience, hummingbirds, all of a sudden being in front of me and flying around me and coming close to me, where they're staring into my eyes. I'm staring at them into their eyes. And then, they're there for longer than I expect, flying around me. And I'm just like, turning in slow-mo and, flying off. And I thought that was, another symbolic dream, insinuating that, even though you think you're stuck in one place, you're doing so much healing, you have so much information that you're actually moving faster than others. You won't be set back the way you thought you were. That's basically what I kind of got out of that, is that you're not going to be set back. So sometimes you think like, oh man, feels like I've been healing forever, right? I'm never going to get back to who I used to be. But in actuality, by the time you do heal, it's going to feel like you were never in that much pain. Like, people are not going to, when they look at you, they're not going to recognize all the trauma and all the pain you went through. So when you come in contact with certain narcissists, they can see right through you. They know you've been through pain, through trauma, and this is why they target you. This is why they're consistent, because they know they can break you. So you're going to build yourself up to the point where, you're going to come across these people, and even though they're being slick, they think that they're moving fast on you, you're paying attention to every detail in slow motion, and then you catch them off guard and their eyes are just like wide open because they can't believe that you are not what they thought you were. Shortly, after that, started going through a lot of gang stalking, a lot of warfare, bad energy, not, with people in my, not in my circle, but that energy, if it can't get to you the way it used to get to you, it just kind of like, the energy doesn't die, so it just kind of changes into different people, whoever's closest to you or whoever just can get closest to you, So you could be living in a farm and now you have this mailman, and you really don't interact with a lot of people, but your mailman is the only person that kind of comes and goes, right? Your mailman will start dropping your mail on the floor, or packages come up missing. It's just weird stuff. So if you give into that energy, sometimes the inner animals, the evil animals, the spirit animals that they have will come into your dreams as, hawks or, a different type of animals. And you can tell based on your dream what it's going to signify. Is the animal trying to attack you, or is it coming close to you like it's friendly, or it's trying to send you a message of love or happiness or prosperity? You can tell by the demeanor of the animal. Also, you have to pay attention. Is that spirit animal their spirit animal, or is that a spirit animal that kind of represents you? And it's telling you in an aggressive way that you need to change your route, that you're going the wrong route. So you could have gave in to some narcissists, and now you're having dreams about being attacked by leopards, or you're being attacked by a pack of them. You're being attacked by 3 of them, and they're, or 3 cheetahs or something, and they're really, really fast. And even though you're not as fast, somehow in your dream you keep getting away from them. So that's what I mean with spirit animals and dreams. I do believe that there's a spiritual connection that we all share with animals. And I do believe, just like some animals are, some people are good, some people will be considered bad on the narcissistic spectrum. I feel like, animals are the same way. But I also find it interesting that there is some type of consciousness in animals, because they also have feelings. And if you connect with certain animals, you can almost, even though you don't know what they're saying, they can almost like telepathically tell you their struggles or their pain, or how they ended up with you in the end. It's crazy. So spirit animals is something that, a lot of people go through. I don't know if any of you empaths have went through dreams of animals and, or things like that you couldn't explain, whether they were trying to protect you, warn you, or attack you, and what did that signify? What did these spirit animals signify to you at that point in your life? What do you think was connecting these spirit animals to your situation? What type of warnings do you think that you are getting according to these dreams, or to these experiences with animals that you've ran across? So if you guys resonate with this message and you found this information useful, don't forget to like, share, comment down below. And if you guys are new to my channel, do not forget to subscribe. If you guys also want to book a one-on-one session with me, my booking information will be on the description. Just give me about 24 hours to respond to you. And as always, I'm sending you guys lots of love, light, peace in your healing, and I will talk to you guys on the next one.